Hi guys, welcome back to Gardening with Creations by DX & Co. Today I wanted to give you guys a full garden tour. We have got some things finally growing here in mid-summer, and I've had a lot of people asking for an actual garden tour of what my garden looks like. So maybe you guys can get some ideas for yours. Let's get started. So I'll take it way back for you guys. This area here used to be my garden, and I had my original 6x8 greenhouse here. So for those of you who have been watching the channel for a while, this is where it all started. We built a privacy fence, I moved it out, and this is where that area used to be. Back by those rows of Sharons there was a chain link fence that I took out. And so I opened all this space up, and as you can see here, my raspberry bushes have just taken over this area. I actually had them in a container. They shot out roots from the bottom, and this is what happens. So we had a just wonderful crop of raspberries this year, so much so that we didn't even get to pick them all, and you can start to see they're dying off. Although it looks like we may get a little bit more here late, so that's awesome. So I'm trying to let them spread into this area here, and there was some Rose of Sharons I just cleaned out. So the Rose of Sharons are in full bloom here, and I'm gonna do some pruning in the fall to clean those back. Got a ton of weeding to do. I'm really trying to damp down the weeds with some cardboard. As you guys can see, I do use tarp in my garden. Just seems to be the best. Cardboard is awesome, but it does break down and eventually feed the soil, and the weeds come back strong. So I do plan on eventually bricking out this area. Unfortunately, it is just expensive, right? And then on top of that, I always am changing up the garden, but I really feel like I might have it where I want it to be. So let's get into the actual garden side of things. That's more of my kind of front area that I'm still not 100% sure what I'm doing with yet. But here are my cherry tomatoes. I got a couple of different varieties this year. These ones are orange zingers. They're delicious, huge but delicious. So been actually cutting these up and putting them in like tacos and stuff. That's how big they are. Just for kind of size comparison, you know, that's a big cherry tomato, if you will. So very delicious variety, orange zinger. These ones are really cool. They're called chocolate sprinkles, and it was actually hard for me to tell that they ripen because it's hard to see on this camera, but they actually stay green in the lines and then get dark like that. Let's see, this one's a little brighter. I'll see. See how they're green, but it's actually ripe. It is a very sweet, very meaty tomato, and it's very good for a little cherry tomato. So that variety is pretty awesome. And these two here, little runts, are little suckers that I just took off and planted just for the fun of it. And you can see the suckers are awesome. You know, they do actually just grow. They look like they were dead, and then all of a sudden they weren't, you know. So not really sure what I'm doing with those yet. Probably won't get much fruit off of them. This one's called a jelly bean variety, and it kind of looks like a little tooth. I think it's kind of neat. I actually am very excited for these ones. They look like they're about to start ripening. I've never tried this variety before. It's a very scraggly looking tomato plant. Doesn't have a whole lot of meat. And then this is just a simple cherry 100, very popular cherry tomato. These ones aren't ripening very fast either. Although I've done a ton of pruning this year, unfortunately, just not getting a lot of quick ripening out of these. Very late season for me. So I wanted to show you guys this trellis system that I'm using. I did actually show you guys this in a video before. Simple T-post with a conduit running across with a plastic PVC tee. I'll link the video on this one. The one thing I didn't have in the video is these. I just picked them up off of Amazon. They're just a simple wheel design, but you can actually, it's got kind of a lock here on the side, and then you can squeeze that side and it'll actually drop this down, so you actually get more slack. So as the plant grows, you just drop it down, and so you could end up with a 20-foot tomato plant if you have the season for it. So growing them in this concrete bed, concrete block bed, and they're doing very well. You know, the soil is what it is. Not great, but it's doing well. So those are the cherry tomatoes variety. And so we've had a ton of rain this year, and I haven't gotten out here as much as I'd like to. This is the corn. I really wanted, everybody says you can't grow corn in a raised bed, so I really wanted to try it this year. And you know what, they're not wrong. The wind has decimated this corn. I've had multiple stalks between the squirrels and the wind just taken out. But as you can see, almost ready to harvest some of this corn. With those ones drying out, that one's probably just about ready. So that's cool. I mean, I don't grow a lot of corn, so it was kind of a neat thing. And you can see even some of the roots kind of exposed down there. The bottom line is that, you know, it's not recommended that you grow corn in a raised bed, but you know, I must have planted a good four seeds per row in maybe 6 rows, and this is what I got. So, you know, kudos to all the farmers out there growing corn, because it's not the easiest crop in the world to grow, I'll tell you that much. All right, so let's take a look over here. I've got a simple hose running up to my sprinkler system. Got it on a timer, have it set for every other day. Even with the rain, I let it go off. Right now I actually did turn it off because it has been raining all week long, except for yesterday and today. But it's supposed to rain again all day tomorrow. So I do have it turned off, but it's a very simple splitter up to a timer. That timer is actually hooked to a sprinkler. And I know everybody's going to be like, oh, you shouldn't water your garden from above. And you're right, you shouldn't. I totally agree with you. If you can maintain your garden from watering down below, please do. But honestly, it is working. That sprinkler gives me full coverage from the Rose of Sharon's all the way back to my greenhouse, which I'll show you guys. And it covers everything, both sides. And it's working out wonderfully, and I am not getting issues from it. So honestly, do what works for you and don't listen to all the haters out there. Sorry. All right, so let me show you guys my tomatoes. So these are my Brandywine tomatoes finally coming in. I literally have not harvested them yet, and this one I need to string up a little bit more. I salvaged an old gazebo and kind of just put it together, used the sides as the top, and made kind of this little, because I just couldn't afford to get the T-posts. Would I prefer this method of the T-post? 100%. But hey, like I said, use what you got. This worked out great. And so these Brandywine tomatoes are absolutely by far my favorite variety of tomatoes. I do not have any seeds. I could not find any seeds anymore. These ones are a pink Brandywine, I believe. I actually saved some seeds, and they're 2 years old, and I got tons. I had great germination, so I'll save some more this year. So just goes to show, make sure you save your own seeds for the variety of crop that you like. It's totally worth it. And so I've got these Brandywine tomatoes here, all coming in. I've got to trellis them up. Oh, I apologize, I didn't mention the tomato clips that I'm using with those strings. These little clips you can get on Amazon. I think I paid 12 bucks. I'll leave a link in the description below. But I think I paid 12 bucks for a bag of 300. Honestly, I use them literally on everything, which you'll see in a bit here. But they are perfect for what, if you can swing it, that is totally worth it. And then I'll try to find the link for these as well. These are awesome as well. So both those, my little solar turtle there, gotta have the garden piece. This one's an early girl tomato. Yeah, this one is as well. Again, haven't gotten any fruit off of it. So I've been using my little cherry tomatoes, as I showed you, those orange zingers, rather than actual tomatoes. It is now August and I have not gotten crop. Again, I started really late with mine, but at the same time, we've just had a weird year as well. So I've got a Roma tomato in here. I thought I would try growing it in a pot. You can see it just isn't doing that great. And for comparison, let me show you. I put this one in the pot before I put these two in the ground. Now, Romas are traditionally, not always, keep that in mind, but traditionally determinate tomatoes and not indeterminate. So what I've done is plant these two Romas. There are two here, believe it or not, next to each other, and thought I would trellis them up if just for support. I haven't needed to support them. They're pretty much supporting each other. I do have one on there, but I'm not sure it's doing anything. And these two Romas I have not pruned at all. You can see I've pruned the snot out of the rest of these. I always take them up to the first set of fruit once you've got the first set of fruit on there. See, like that. Oh, can't wait to eat those. But these Romas, I really wanted to try to make my own salsa this year, so I thought the Romas would be a good thing for it. We've definitely got some tomatoes coming in, and you can see just the sheer size difference between growing in a container like this. Now, again, not the best soil, sorry. You could put fertilizer in there, you could put better soil, so on and so forth, and just have better results. But I am a firm believer that, obviously, as you can see, this in a bed like this, they do a little bit better. So that's not true of every crop, but it seems to be of this right now. And I need to do some airflow trimming on the bottom at least. So let me show you guys kind of what's going on with my pepper bed here. So a couple of things. So marigolds, these are volunteer that just happen on the outside. Of course, I let them grow. Marigolds are great for the garden. I believe that's the French variety. Now, also, you may have noticed over there and over here, I've got dill kind of growing everywhere. I planted dill once and it comes back. And I do not pull my dill. We use it for pickles and stuff like that. So I just let dill grow wherever it wants. Example, over here, there's a fresh sprout of dill just growing, and another one over here, and I just let it go. Guys, if you guys have been watching the channel for a while, I tried the single seed challenge for a little bit with a chocolate pepper, and I was so excited about this chocolate pepper variety, and I got it to finally sprout, and here it is. Isn't that awesome? Chocolate pepper. No, just kidding. It's basil. That is purple basil that was in the chocolate pepper bag, and I was so excited that it sprouted. And look at those leaves. They're very similar to a pepper leaf, right? So I just thought maybe I've never grown it before, right? And no, that's basil. Smelled like basil. And I was like, okay, that's weird. All right, so I tried another seed. Here it came. Look at these leaves. Very, very much like a pepper leaf, right? Nope, that's basil as well. So the chocolate pepper, and I'll show it from Pennington, it came as basil. And I was just dumbfounded. And so I was like, okay, there's no way that, they mixed this up this badly. So I sprouted a couple more, and I'll show you those too. They're all basil. So this one is an orange sweet dream, tangerine, and I can't wait for those ones to turn. My peppers that are in this bed are just stunted, as you can see. I mean, some of them are putting on peppers, but they're just so stunted. This one here is a bell pepper. This one here is a bell pepper. Those two short ones there are bell peppers. And I planted these at the same time as my tomatoes, so they're just taking forever. This is supposed to be a California bell. And I think that one's another Sweet Dream that I put in. And I put those in maybe 3 weeks ago, the Sweet Dreams in the middle, just because I had extras. And then this is a Sweet Dream over here. Let me come around to the other side. I actually had to take the cage off of it because it was just too hard to access. So this is a Sweet Dream, and so is this. But I mean, just look at how many peppers are on this one. I'm so excited for these to turn. And it's so heavy that once I took the cage off of it, it just fell over. And so what I did is I actually took some of those tomato clips. You can actually string 2 of them together, and I put it on there like that. Just a simple PVC post to try to hold up the weight of this. And it's working a little better than the tomato cage was. Here is that raspberry plant I was telling you about. It's still in the original container. Red Raspberry Heritage. I believe the raspberry shortcake variety. Nope, guess not. Anyways, this one plant sent off all those runners. That's how crazy raspberries can get. So anyways, that is my non-spicy peppers, and I'm really excited about them. They're just stunted, and I know I can fertilize. I usually fertilize with used aquarium water. Fish emulsion is the same type of thing if you're going to use it. I just have not made time to fertilize this year. So you guys may have noticed the bottle of 7 there. I'm not using it on my plants. It was just something that somebody gave me and I set it down. And no, I have not been using it. So, all right, moving on. Dogs are playing. Yes, we have 3 dogs. They're crazy. All right, so let me show you guys over here real quick. So I did have my grape vine here. I was trying to trellis it over here. It just never worked out. This is an apple tree that I planted at the same time as those apple trees over there. And I've just kept it in this container, and it's just been this little dwarf apple tree this whole time. So it's pretty cool. It's kind of like my bonsai apple tree. This is volunteer sunflowers. The squirrels get in the garden and they plant sunflowers. I've got a blueberry plant that I thought I lost, and it came back. It's shutting off new growth, which is fantastic. Fortunately, no crop this year. My eventual plan is to make this bed blueberries and strawberries combined. So I'm gonna get some more plants when I can. This particular one is another blueberry. This one is the pink lemonade, and this one is just a standard blueberry. It's the blue crop variety. And then we've got I'm starting the strawberries. I do have a kiddie pool full of strawberries. Has been doing fantastic. These are the ever-bearing variety Fort Laramie, I believe. Yeah, Fort Laramie. These are just one of the most delicious strawberries I've ever had. And we've gotten some fantastic crop off them, especially late in the summer. June we had a light crop, but after that it's just been fantastic. So as you can see, I've got some weeding to do along the beds. It gets crazy. I've already done this probably 3 or 4 times. All right, moving on for you guys. Let me show you guys this next bed. Wow, is this ever crazy looking, right? So we've got some volunteer sunflowers just popping up like crazy, right? Again, squirrels are just burying stuff in my garden. I also have strawberries in this bed really just taking over. But more importantly, what I have in this bed, hard to tell, but right there's a bunch of dill taking over. In between all that dill here is asparagus, right? So this is my asparagus bed that I showed you guys probably earlier this season. And I actually have a lot of asparagus that came up and died off because it's really a spring crop. Look at these strawberries. Look at this. Just absolutely beautiful coming in. And in this this is actually asparagus, right? I planted a whole row of asparagus seeds. I dumped a whole bag of seeds thinking, whatever. And you can see it, they're all coming up. So it'll be another 3 years before they actually produce a decent crop in this side. But it'll be cool because I'll have eventually strawberries and asparagus, a true perennial bed here, just like that one over there. And so I'm really excited about that. You can see in the back here, that is all Swiss chard. I did not expect it to get so big so fast and just take over. I really thought it was gonna die off, and you can just see how beautiful these leaves are. And it's such an ornamental crop that I wish I had done it like in the front garden, and I might next year just put some of that out there. It's good for the bearded dragon to eat. It's also good for you. This is a volunteer watermelon because I did have watermelon in this bed last year. So I've actually got to move this, and I'll actually show you guys that. I'm growing those crops out front, and I will show you guys. I mean, watermelons, melons, pumpkins, things like that take so much room, and if you don't have acres, that, you know, it's hard to do them in a raised bed like this. So that is that. As you can see, dill all up in here as well. You know, it's good for everything. So what I did is I put these 6 gauge, I believe they're 6 gauge trellises, just got them from Tractor Supply, and they're relatively inexpensive, and I've had them for a couple of years now. They don't rust, which is fantastic. They're cattle panels. And so I had some snow peas in there. I had a nice crop of those. They grab onto the trellis and with their little tendrils there, and you know, usually they should be dead by now. It looks like this one might even still sprout, and they're delicious, very sweet right off the vine. And then I put in some green beans, the actual climbing variety, hoping to fill this in, and you can see it kind of is filling in there. But I also planted some of the bush variety, and you can see I've got a wonderful crop of just some beans going there, right with that Swiss chard. And so this bed is just absolutely crazy with stuff, and hard to kind of hunt for strawberries, but it's kind of fun at the same time. Let me swing you around here. The other side I was growing cucumbers. So this is a pickling variety, and I've got a couple of those because I do like to make pickles. That's a lot of what the dill is for. And then this variety just completely died off. Unfortunately, we have just been plagued with cucumber beetles again this year. I've done so much. I've cut back the leaves. You can see they're just creating a lot of disease on the leaves. No, it's not from the sprinkler. It's from the cucumber beetles. But yeah, they are just diseasing my leaves, and I've cut them back, you know, a ton there. Need to clean that up. And so, I mean, I'm still getting some crop off of them, but I'm just so disappointed in my cucumbers year over year. Here you go. Let's see. You can see, I don't think I can get them on camera. That little bugger. Cucumber beetles. See them? There they are. See? They're just decimating my crop like they do every year. I'm just to the point where I might just start buying cucumbers. I mean, it's so sad. I had 5 plants in there, and you know, I've maybe gotten 6 or 7 cucumbers this year. I've made 2 jars of pickles, but you know, honestly. But I'll tell you what is doing really well, this zucchini plant. So I had a bunch of kale in here, that's why the bed's so empty. But this zucchini plant, I've gotten so many zucchinis off of. Look, I just picked one about this size the other day. I mean, holy smokes, guys. I can't even begin to tell you how big that is. Look at the one next to it is a normal size zucchini, and then there's that. And I mean, I've just been getting crop after crop off of this one. Ironically, the one on the other side was kind of being choked out by, the kale and such. And so I've only gotten one zucchini off it. There's another one growing there. But I mean, it's crazy, right? I don't even know what to do with it. We make zucchini bread, but I only need like one for that. So really, I only planted two because I wanted to make sure that they would take. I'd get at least one, and they're doing fantastic. So that one really, as you can see, is kind of growing long. It could be staked up and growing kind of like a tree, but I'm just letting it do its thing. It's pretty cool. All right, let me take you guys over here, show you what I got going on. This is my spicy peppers. All right, so I did a video on how to build this. I am super excited about this, to the point where I'm thinking I'm going to build a second one for the greenhouse. And I think I'm going to try to grow my peppers year round in the greenhouse if I can properly heat it this season. And because like, I think I want to grow the bell peppers on one side, the spicy on another. But this is just, this system of gardening, and you can see how little space is taken up, is just doing wonderful. I mean, look at these things, right? So you've got, this one is a peppercini coming in. This one's a habanero, which was so stunted even in the pot that I had it in. I had it in the same size pot as the rest of these. And you can see now this habanero is just coming in strong and fantastic. You can tell by the soil, guys, here, this isn't fresh like soil. It's just soil that I had laying around, and these are still doing well. Now I had to stake this jalapeno. You can see how I did it with those clips there. You can tie two of those clips together and not damage it. The wind, the first night I put this in, the wind almost basically snapped this base, and look how strong it came back together, but it still struggles. And so it was a little stunted as far as growth, but it's putting on a ton of jalapenos. These jalapenos here are just doing fantastic. And I'm just waiting for them to kind of dry out, get that little extra spice, if you will, the lines running through them. As much heat as we have, I'm surprised we haven't yet, but they're doing fantastic. Like I said, that sprinkler gets this area even, it's good. All right, so here, this whole bottom row is actually called a hot salsa blend of seeds. So they're all over the place, and I don't know what they are. So my guess is that they are like banana peppers and chili peppers, but I'm waiting for them to turn color so I can actually tell what type of pepper they are. So if you guys know, let me know in the comments down below. It's kind of a guessing game. Look at how shrivelly that one kind of looks. I think that's going to be like a chili pepper, although these ones kind of look like they might be. This one I don't think is a banana pepper, because of the way it's growing, but I don't know. I've never grown this variety before. So this one is actually, funny enough, I believe, the banana pepper. Unfortunately, my marker kind of wore off on my labels, so I don't know. I do know, however, that this one I couldn't get started forever. I had like 5 different varieties in here just trying to get them started, and I gave up caring. This one here is actually Serrano. So, you know, that's cool. I need to fill this in more, but that's actually my grapevine that I had over there. And I put it here. I'm hoping to, like you can see just between the short that I did, guys, with follow-up, and I pruned back all of that dead wood, and just look at how the growth that's coming on this thing. It's just fantastic. Still kind of a container. This little kiddie pool, I just drilled holes in the bottom and I filled it in with just random soil. You can see I need to weed it. You can see I've got just some random like watermelon and or pumpkin, I'm thinking pumpkin maybe, coming up. And so we'll see. But yeah, that is a grapevine. I want to eventually trellis it 2 ways, split it down the fence there. So that would be really cool. get the grape going. Once it goes that way, I can start to trellis it over the archway. And so, yeah, hot mess behind it that I need to clean up. But all right, let me take you guys here. I've showed you most of the exterior garden. There's a couple of things left I want to show you. I need to redo my stepping stones that get moved with the hose here, but my stepping stones here, I'm starting to build kind of out. You know, I want to put the bricks down, then these on top of it, or maybe cut around these. I'm not sure yet. But I've got all of the different types of stepping stone there. If you guys know, you know. And then I need to weed this here, but these are my actual stepping stones I get for Father's Day. I just got this one this year. Love it. And then that one. But let me take you guys, I just did this greenhouse build, guys. As you guys know, I used to have 6x8 greenhouses. I bit the bullet this year with the help of you guys and actually just got the 10x12. And struggling with the base still. I need to figure something different out. But here's the bricks that I have got in so far. But let me take you guys in what's going on. So on cooler days, I can sit out here and just relax and enjoy this space. I got kind of my potting bench over here that is working well for me. You can see the weeds are coming in even back there. So I need to weed in here. I need to get some additional bricks to finish this out. Seen a few free bricks just like this on Marketplace. I just haven't had a chance to go pick those up. I actually grew radishes pretty successfully in here. This is the self-wicking bed. Unfortunately, the silly cabbage worms got my radishes and they eventually got to them. This is actually bell peppers. I wanted to test out if the bell peppers would do better here versus out there. And these seeds are, I planted these bell pepper seeds in that little seed starting kit that I got that I did a video on. And you can see how much bigger these ones are than out there. So I'm doing self-wicking with my bell peppers because I'm just hoping to get some crop pretty soon. This one here is my greens bed that I was growing greens for the bearded dragon, and specifically like bok choy, so on and so forth. I started a fresh set of greens and the silly cabbage worms got to them again in here. So really frustrating that the cabbage worms keep getting to it. I need to get some of that Diametitis earth stuff. Diametitis earth, I can't pronounce it. But you guys may remember the video on this. So awesome. I had Bib lettuce growing in here. This self-wicking bed's working really well. Had a bunch of cabbage started. Silly dang cabbage worms again. This is basil that I actually planted as basil. Absolutely beautiful flowers. This is a cinnamon basil. I was so freaking excited when I was like, man, I should have planted this in the front garden. It's so ornamental. The basil itself smells delicious. About to pull these and redo them, but the actual bees and butterflies have been in here just really enjoying this, so I've left them. But these three here, again, as you can tell, go ahead and take a guess, are chocolate peppers. Not really. They're basil. Isn't that crazy? I mean, absolutely ridiculous. So, yeah. This one here is a peppercini, and I'm doing kind of a self-wicking thing with these where I just fill up the tray with water and water it. There's a jalapeno. These butter tubs are actually like the perfect size for these peppers. It's crazy. And they're doing really well with that. I've got another one over here, one of the hot salsa blends. It's starting to flower. We'll see what comes of that. This you may recognize here is a greenhouse, right? There's the greenhouse top right there. Shelving works perfectly for it. And so I'm thinking if I need to protect some of my more tropical plants, if you will, I'm going to go ahead and put that over top of that in the winter here. And then I'll have that double layer of protection between the two greenhouses. So really neat. I'm still playing with the design out here. As you can see, I need to weed the snout out of this place. I have so much work to do out here. It's been hot, so I'm waiting for the cooler weather. Got some arugula growing in here. You can see the silly cabbage worms are attacking the snout out of it. It's a bummer. I also have carrots growing in this bed. Testing out the theory of whether or not you can grow carrots in that shallow of soil, if the self-wicking is a good idea. So I've got about 3 different varieties in here that my son helped me plant. So we'll see. And again, self-wicking bed. So I've got 4 of those out here, but 3 of the city slickers, city whatever they are. And I need to harvest all that arugula and pull it out because it's actually choking out the carrot variety back there, but that's okay. And then over here, I got a little tangelo tree that I planted a couple of years ago. Thought I lost it over the winter, and it's doing okay. This is my pequeña peño. I don't know. It's my little tiny. These are about as big as these peppers get. It's Mexican pepper, very spicy. Thought I lost that again over the winter. Bounced back, doing fantastic. But I did lose my lemon tree that I had for 3 years. I was so mad. I haven't emptied it out yet. I haven't given up on it. I keep watering and hoping something's going to happen. I know nothing's going to happen, but I still water it. I'm so mad about it, guys. It's my own fault, but I'm still so mad about it. I had it in the garage, in this little greenhouse. I do not have a heated or insulated garage, and I just didn't water it. I'm so saddened by it. These 2 are also the hot salsa blend. I planted a couple of seeds because I think they were dollar store seeds. I didn't think they were going to sprout, and they just did fantastic. Another little bee. Gotta love it. And so, again, these are the little tiny pots that I've been growing my peppers in. Like those, what are they, 5-gallon, 6-gallon pots. And peppers don't need a lot of space, obviously, and they just thrive compared to the raised bed where they're not thriving. Again, bad soil. I get it. I haven't fertilized any of my plants, guys. I usually don't. These are some cantaloupe seeds, I believe, or honeydew, I don't remember which, that I was just playing around with, and so I got to get those planted out. So I'm still organizing because I've been redoing a lot, but that's what's going on. And then I actually have to have a step stool in here to reach. As tall as I am, I can't reach the windows. So, all right, let me take you guys around back, and then I'll show you guys out front. I know this has been a long video. Thanks for hanging with me thus far. Barrel that I eventually plan to do a rain barrel with these new gutters on the greenhouse. Old composting bin. And these are just like some rings that I got off Facebook. They're watering rings I just haven't had a chance to do anything with. Composting bag is doing great. As you can, it actually breaks down so fast, it's crazy, that I keep filling it. It's just amazing, and I'm so excited about that. Dynatrap, I actually need a new bulb for. I know I've done a video on that. Check out this one I just got from a garage sale for 20 bucks. It's the 1 acre version versus the 1/4 acre version. Just need to get a new bulb, and I'm going to put them both up, I think. But that new one is fantastic. So volunteer sunflowers. Look, I mean, this is just a hot mess. Moved my bigger pots and shed back in this corner, and here is where I had all my wood chips and everything. I actually am going to clear this area out. Probably next week. It's only supposed to be like 70, which is fantastic. And I'm going to put 2 compost bins here, do a video on that, show you how we do it. So that way you guys can build one if you want. But I'm going to put 2 composting bins side by side. I used to have like pallet composting bins. Now I'm going to move to a different style. But that's why I have my shed back here with my shovels and all that. So pretty excited about that, because I want to get my compost going again, and then I can take all these weeds out and throw them in the compost pile. I mean, look at that. There's carrots growing in here even, you know. There's carrots growing in the greenhouse. Just crazy, the amount of stuff. And I left a little space in between the fence because I'm constantly trying to weed the fence line. And it's frustrating. I like this neighbor, so that's the only reason I didn't put the privacy fence here. We talk to each other, you know. So this is the wood I will probably be using for the compost bins. But you can see this corner is raised off the ground of the greenhouse. Everything's level, which is great, but honestly it's I mean, critters can get in. It's not going to be good for the winter, so I've got a little bit of work to figure that out too. It doesn't seem like a lot of stuff, but it's a long garden. Let me take you guys out front and show you how I'm growing my pumpkins and my watermelons. All right, so I'll be honest, this wasn't my idea originally. I saw somebody who was driving down the road and I thought, wow, what a smart idea. Like, why not use your ditch? So this is a drainage ditch underneath all the driveways. There is, you know, just different hole for drainage, and the street kind of slopes downhill. Honestly, mine doesn't fill up very much, and half the time in the summer, or I'm sorry, in the fall, I was blowing all my leaves in here, just kind of raising the level. So the soil's pretty good because a lot of the leaves broke down in here. And the squirrels keep digging them up. So, you know, like this was some cantaloupe, like I just showed you. There's actually one trying to grow. I did actually rototill all this out, but didn't work out. So, because I didn't put a weed barrier down, but I didn't care. So maybe next year we'll change it up. I didn't want to put anything down because it is a drainage ditch, but so this is some cantaloupe. This is watermelon, I believe. There's another, this one definitely is watermelon. I can tell by the leaf shape. So they're not doing fantastic, and they're a couple weeks in. Originally, I put some cages around them just to try to keep people like Amazon and stuff walking through. But those all got choked out, is what it is. But these pumpkins, I mean, I've got some powdery mildew going on. I got to cut back, but look at these pumpkins. They're just doing fantastic. There's a few actual pumpkins starting to form on there, but hoping by October we'll have at least a couple of pumpkins to pick. And that was kind of the idea, was that I've got 3 different varieties of pumpkins. There you go, right there. So I've got the like short and sweet pie pumpkins in there because we like to, you know, have a Halloween party and decorate those. This one's an Atlantic Giant, I believe. No way they're going to get very big in time. I think this one might be a jack-o'-lantern, and this one might be the short, sweet type, whatever, pie pumpkins. But, you know, if I get one crop off of these things, one fruit, you know, it is what it is. But if this eventually works out, you know, I plan to be able to be like, put a sign up that says, come pick a pumpkin for your kids, you know, because we live in a neighborhood. Or, you know, take a watermelon, you know. Eventually I want to put a plant stand up, and I can put them out in the plant stand that says, take what you want, or, you know, leave some for other people, that type of thing. So the idea is that, you know, we've got a little neighborhood library that everybody already stops by, that my son built with me. And so the idea is just to give back. And so pretty excited about that. And so I thought this was perfect. If I can get this concept to work, I'll do a better job at tilling it next year, I think, a little bit deeper. And, you know, so, and I think next year I'll build some cages over top of it so that when they can get started like this, right? And then I'll take the cages off. I'll, you know, like, just some simple wood chicken wire cages to keep the squirrels off them, because I mean, we have a ton of squirrels in our neighborhood, and they're going to eat the pumpkins. I'm full aware of it. It is what it is. So, all right, so while I was back here, I almost forgot to show you guys my fruit trees here. So I won't go into too much detail. 2 pears, 2 apples. They are now 3.5 years old, some almost 4 years old, I guess. Grow them all from seed ourselves. And the thing about them is that they need to be pruned really badly. And so I've purposely let them go and haven't pruned them so that I can go over it with you guys on how to prune these properly. They are not flowering. It's because they're not being pruned properly. And so I intended to keep them dwarf. You can see how tall that one's getting, that apple tree there. You can see the neighbor has a wild grapevine growing over the fence. They also have a Virginia creeper that comes over that I'm trying to tackle. I'm trying to see if these wild grapevines are worth anything before I cut them all back. But you know, I might run them along the fence if they're worth anything. But they've fruited, but they haven't come to a good fruit yet. So I haven't done anything with those. But I will see what happens, and I will do a video on how to prune these pretty soon. But that's why I'm not going close up on all the fruit trees. And so far, so good. They're still healthy and coming back every year. So there you go, guys. A full-on garden tour. That's what I'm growing this year. A lot of trial and error. A lot of things I could be doing better. I'm open and honest about it. But I am trying to balance work, home, business, and garden. And it's just one of those things where, you know, you do what you can when you can, and let all the chips fall where it may, right? So I really appreciate you guys watching, and I hope you guys are staying safe and enjoying your gardens. Thanks for watching.